Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a little bit more intriguing news now that we actually are seeing the next iteration, once again, of like say the part 2 or the 1.5 of these next-gen consoles coming on out. We actually have some insiders that actually have been spreading out some information in regards to the next gen, middle gen, whatever you guys want to go call it, console that's actually apparently already in the works, as well as also being utilized, and as well as also once again running a better chipset that will actually make it a lot more easy to go get, a lot more easier for restocks, and as well to help supply up all of the internal demand. So a lot of cool stuff to go talk about that, and as well as also a bit of an intriguing cool Xbox sale going on too as well. So before we fully dive in the video, we have a lot of things to go talk about, and I love seeing this next gen. I love seeing like the Slims, I love seeing the Pros, and although it doesn't really feel like it, a lot of these consoles have been out for almost 2 years now, which is honest to God, kind of crazy to even think about. So at that point, like we usually do see a lot of these like, mid-tier things around 3 to 4 years in. So at the end of the day, they are probably already being worked on, or at least also very, very close to being done. So we have a lot of stuff to go talk about, so let's go talk about it. And as well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console controller. Twitter and Twitch room as well, linked down below. And sign up for Weeble, sign up for Coinbase, and let's go down the video itself. And when it comes to this stuff, too, it's always a lot of, like, a little bit more on the speculation side as well, even though we are actually having other folks bringing it up. So always give me your thoughts and comments down below. So as you guys know, the Xbox Series X and S have been doing pretty good, especially this past few weeks especially. But the one big thing, it was actually the very first console to go into mid-gen, and we've actually kind of talked about this even more with even more information coming out with it, the Xbox Series S. Now, the Xbox Series S has been doing phenomenal. They are actually on a completely different chipset than the Xbox Series X is and PlayStation 5 is, so it's in the same vein of the Switch, where those chips are actually not as in demand, and as well just easier to go and get, and on top of that, it's probably why they're just being churned out non-stop. We've even been seeing some other deals too, like Xbox trying their best to work in promotional deals, where they have like a really good trade-in value, mainly because they just want people on the Game Pass ecosystem, and as well as also on next gen, and as well as also in the Xbox Series S. But the one big thing is the internals when it comes to the Xbox Series S in general. Now with that, the Xbox Series S isn't bad. It's not the world's worst console. But the one big issue is it's probably going to get dated pretty quick. And even as of right now, some games actually are running not just as efficiently, or maybe just be soft locked at 30 FPS. And while that's not bad, especially for the value and the price point of the console, the one big struggle is sometimes you need to have a little bit more improvements, whether it comes to storage on a digital-only console, or whether it has to more so do with like just power, RAM, or as well just internal GPUs, CPUs. And that's kind of where the issue is right over here. So with this, we actually have a brand new report coming over here from Microsoft stating Microsoft is reportedly now working on a now smaller and even more powerful, efficient Series X chip. So this is revision number 1. And that's kind of the big thing why I even brought up the Xbox Series S, because the Xbox Series X can be actually utilizing all of this extra power if they can find a more efficient, or is easier to produce, or easier to go and find the actual sourcing for, and push it towards that. So we're expecting both two things. The Xbox Series X Pro, or Xbox Series X Slim, or as well the Xbox Series S Pro, or the Xbox Series S Slim, which I kind of wish they still had better words for it. So I love seeing this because the Xbox Series X definitely seems like a bigger, beefier console. And as you guys know, we've even seen Microsoft, as of recently, has been pushing towards more like just trying their best to spend as much money as they can to lock in as many chips as they can. But if they could actually work towards a better chip and maybe work towards their entire system and make it more efficient, that just means they're going to have more sales, they're going to have a better console, and they're going to have better people enjoying their consoles because it's technically better specs. So let's go talk about this a little bit more in detail. So the Xbox Series X, and as well, I'm going to probably chime the Xbox Series S2 on top of that, is a pretty beefy machine. Not only in power, but also in size. It makes sense then that a year and a half after launch, well, actually a little bit more than that, revisions may be underway for a more efficient version of the console. According to a new report that is actually already happening in terms of leaks. Journalist Brad Sams discussed the topic in a recent video going over all things gaming and tech news. Basically, a viewer was actually asking about the Xbox Series X console revisions, and he actually replied stating he believes revisions are already being developed. I'm going to chime this too as well myself in a second, but he states, I believe this is true. I know Microsoft was working on revisions of the chip. Now, this kind of goes, like I said, as I mentioned for the Xbox Series S2 as well, where you guys can see this. Now, once again, when it comes to like all these people, when it comes to information, it's kind of easy to go make the speculation. I myself can tell you right now, the PlayStation 5 Pro or Slim, gonna happen, 100%, without a doubt. So it's not always like the best things to go and see this, but when they have a little bit more merit, or they've been hearing to talk about, or it's just a fun topic point in general, I like to go and talk about it. So for this, what they're kind of expecting is we are going to be seeing performance improvements. And as well, they don't necessarily really know fully too, but basically maybe trying to go and make it more on the efficient side in terms of chips because it could lower more costs of production. And that's why I started off the video talking about the Xbox Series S, because in terms of the Pro for either side, it's definitely been a big merit, and it's actually one of their biggest marketing points right now, because it's kind of the same thing with the Switch. If it's always in stock, people actually do kind of go and settle, which is kind of a bad thing to say, but it's true. Like I know quite a few people who just got the Xbox Series S because they're like, well, there's nothing else really kind of going on. I can't find an Xbox, can't find a PlayStation. I already have a Switch. Might as well just go get it. So if you could actually go and see, number one, a more efficient chip, whether it's in terms of production, that means other semiconductors and other chip suppliers that are completely backlogged might be able to go and have some wiggle room. If it's not as if it's more efficient and easier to produce, easier, less materials, no problem. Or as well, if it's just like a more different type of chip subset, which might be harder to go utilize, but we'll have to see how the work kind of happens in the future. That also means more options, lower cost, and that also means more consoles. So it's kind of almost in basically Microsoft's and also in Sony's basically prerogative to go and make their consoles cheaper for themselves, because that means they have a higher profit margin. But as well, if they can somehow go and utilize better technology and make the Xbox Series X even better, like the Xbox Series X Pro even better with better internals, and it's the same price point because they were able to go and tone down the cost of production, people are gonna upgrade. People are down to trade in. People are willing to go maybe even move for the PlayStation 5 if they get their Pro version out even faster. And as well, I think that's kind of crazy to see. We saw a very, very big influx of the Xbox Series S, and that also kind of goes into what I was saying before, is that the power system is not as good. And that kind of leads into the issue on both sides. So if you're going to compare consoles current gen to PC, it's definitely not as good. But as well, if you want to compare the Xbox Series S to PS5 and Xbox Series X, it's also not as good. So that's why we keep on thinking if they want to go have a better chipset overall. Like I said, it's kind of harder to go optimize this stuff until you have like a proper internals to go and talk about it. But a better Xbox Series S Pro would be phenomenal. A better Xbox Series X Pro or Slim, phenomenal. And even just having a slimmer version just to kind of tone it down, or even how the PlayStation did, where they actually updated the internals for the heat sink and also the heat, like the heat fans, and made it lighter and all that stuff. That would also be a very welcome upgrade. Like I'd actually be fully down with that. And especially with the fact that as of right now, we are 2 years in. When it comes to all the stock for it, the Xbox stock is finally becoming normalized. So this is also the time where Xbox kind of have like a little bit of a breather. They can like out of a boardroom and kind of have like a deep breath and kind of work on what's next. Because say for the PlayStation, they're still out of stock everywhere. So you can't really be working on what's next. I mean, although they are, but like more in a proper sense, it can't be your main priority because the main priority right now is getting people the consoles. You know what I mean? So it's very intriguing to go and see that this is actually going to have a proper revision. Now, this could also just be a just normal, like better console, just like remade, like I said, how the PlayStation was. But as well, the Xbox Pro could also be better. And especially the fact that they're trying to make their chip better and trying to make the actual overall console better and have better, like, either RAM or as well have better storage or whatever it is, it's kind of nice to see. We also already kind of seem like a part 2 console, if you guys remember the Xbox Series X Halo Infinite consoles. So it does kind of seem like it's not against their normal wishes to go get it done. So a little bit of a ramble on this one, but it's intriguing to go and see because without a doubt, we do have to go towards the next gen. Especially when it comes to PS4 Pros, when they happen, like after 2, 3, 4 years, at some point people want that slightly better upgrade. It also makes the company more money, and as well, technology as time goes on, it keeps on getting better and better and better, so it's almost dumb to not utilize it. So when it comes to the Xbox Series S, we're probably going to be expecting a Pro version, and I'd probably say that'd be a little bit quicker, mainly because if it's easier to make the current chipset, you could probably improve other stuff like RAM and even that own maybe current chipset, and also GPUs, etc., just way cheaper and way more efficiently. And then on top of that, too, you also get more people to Game Pass ecosystem, which makes them more money. But then part 2, the Xbox Series X, it might take a little bit longer, but I'm sure they want to have something in plans in case the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 Slim or Pro do come out in the near future. So overall, it's kind of cool to see that it's kind of finally working there, that we're seeing leaks, we're seeing rumors, we're seeing information on it, and as well, it's kind of cool to go and see that in the future. It just kind of makes sense in terms of marketing and also production side. And of course, as well, I'm sure you guys would all agree, the more production that's coming out means the more consoles that we can buy, which means the less, basically, well, supply issues we have to deal with and less restocks you have to worry about. So, I don't know, kind of give your thoughts and comments down below. A little bit of a ramble into this one, but I do like the idea of the Xbox Series X Pro coming out in the near future, or Slim, and also I do like the idea of more iterations and better versions of consoles, because at the end of the day, the more consoles we get, and the better the consoles, means the better the games, better the systems, and ideally, the more fun for all of us all. And as well, I just want an Xbox Series S Pro, because I'd probably buy that one over the current Xbox Series S, because it does seem like it's going to get outdated pretty quickly. So give me your thoughts and comments down below as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller, Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below, and sign up for that Weeble, sign up for that Coinbase, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. Love you guys.